Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Happy to be here. Get some coding done today. Should be fun. This Michael wants to do its own thing right now. Hope you guys are doing well. Feel free to say hi in chat. We'll be doing some sesh work today, if you're not surprised. There's been some good progress on a few different things over the last couple of weeks. You guys didn't see me last week. Let's see. We're going to zoom way in. Sesh issues. Can we see this? Yes. Pretty good. All right. So my idea is fairly simple today, and I'll probably just start working on it. But I think Mark, my buddy Mark, might be coming in, and we might talk about Git Worktrees for a little while. It's an interesting topic, and so we'll see where that goes. But today, let's see, we're going to get rid of that. Get rid of that. And we're going to call this sesh. We're going to call this root. I'm thinking I might call this root, but let's put on a little music today. I'm feeling a little music would be fun. Anyone got recommendations? Lo-fi might be fun. Beats to study to. Ooh, nice. How's the volume? Can you guys hear? This is real spooky. All right, let me know if the music bothers you. We can find something better. But this is kind of fun. So, CLI. We have list, last, connect and clone. So what I think is going to happen today is that we're going to add a root command. And what I want the root command to do is basically list something like this. So we're going to go like sesh main. This is my way of getting around projects, right? This is the way that I do it. So I don't typically leave a session open for an entire project. I usually open up a session that's a part of a project. So I might want like to go into the Zoxide package module and like do things there. And so I end up with, in many cases, let's just do it. Let's just talk about like the tmux one, right? And then sesh main convert, and then sesh main tmux, right? So you can see I have multiple sessions that are under the same project. And if I want to filter out inside this project, I have to do sesh main and the thing I want to do. So sometimes I can get away with like shm I know that that might be a partial match. But what I really want to do is I want to figure out a way in which I can pull the root of the project in as a string and pass it into gum or FCF or whatever project automatically. So we're going to see if that's possible. That's what I'm going to play around with today. So we'll first start by, let's see. I want to see if I can pass a given variable or value into the prompt, like filling in selected. No, not selected. This is kind of the fun part. Directory, file size, file permissions. There's a lot of stuff here. All right. Filter. Cursor text width. Can I do like cursor text content is kind of the idea. Maybe placeholder will be like text that you would see before you start filling something out. All right, so can I pass, basically I want to ask, can I pass in text to auto filter? Value, okay. So if I added value, it would look like this. Tmux config, we'd have our J, and value would be like sesh main. Oh, that's not what I want. I want that to go here. Like something like this. So now it fills it out. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So instead of being this value, we're going to swap it out for a sesh. What is it going to be? It'll be sesh root. So if I say sesh root, I want it to dump out, sesh main, because sesh main, well, in this case, it'd be the dot files project, right? But whatever project you're in right now, I want to take that and I want to use that to determine what that value should be. So I think we can do that in a stream. I think in just a couple of hours, maybe less, we can get that feature working. And so what it'll do is I'll probably bind it to Command Shift K, because Command K gives me this pop-up. So Command Shift K would give me a contextualized filter on the current project I'm in. It doesn't matter if I'm in the root of the project or if I'm in some subdirectory. I'd always be able to quickly filter down to a specific area of the project with less keystrokes. Because I find, like, if I wanted the Tmux thing, right? Well, let's do like the Zoc side, right? Well, it's going to work great because I have it set up that way already. Let's get rid of that. Well, I guess we're not getting rid of it. Let's just do that. Yeah, so if I want to do like Zoc side, right, it's going to be the first one. But let's just say sesh main, let's just say there's one called like dir, right? Dir is not going to be a simple solution here. Now I could change to a different filtering tool, and I could try that again. So like ZF has a better matching algorithm and probably could get me what I want more often. However, when there's conflicts between projects, especially Git Worktrees, they'll be the same subfolders, right, in a worktree because it's the same project duplicated. And so that is where it becomes really useful, I think. So instead of main dir, I might want like v1 dir, which I don't think there's a lot of folders in Zocside from this worktree. But if I was being more active in some of my other projects, I definitely would want that. So we'll just build out the CLI. I'm just going to go ahead and kill all, and we're going to sesh main sesh CLI. And we will probably do something similar to last. So I'm just going to create a root command, and we're going to call this root. There's no aliases. I guess I could do R. Show the root of the from the active session. So instead of getting the last tmux session, we'll get the current tmux session, and then find the root of the project of the active session. Get Worktree or repo or dir. So we'll do some sort of no root found for a session. And we're not going to do any sort of switching. We're actually going to return the value. So it'll be so we're not doing that. What's going on, Dr. K? Yeah, man, this should be a pretty simple thing. Once I'm done programming it, it is just one of those things that I'll reach for probably multiple times an hour at least, right? And so you got to love as you use something for a long time. Like I use Sesh a lot. I use it every day, all the time, as I'm working. So you tend to find these patterns where you want to reach for something more often, or you want to find a shortcut. At least for me, a lot of what Sesh is about is typing less. So over time, I'm really hyper aware of what I'm typing. And so this is kind of filling out one of those things. It's like contextualized search, which with Zoxide is a really powerful combo. So there won't be any, but there probably will be options, to be honest. But for now, I'm not going to include them. And then when it comes to the last session, right? So under last, does anyone know in Go if I can go to where I've defined this in the source code? I could do like I can like search for it, but it doesn't seem to want to show up. This is like the tmux file. Right, here it is. There's no really simple way to go to definition from what I can tell with this whole dependency injection structure. So someone let me know if they know how that works. So let's do it. We've got the last session, get attached session. So I'll probably do that. I'll probably now what's funny is I'm actually using this to name the session. So let's talk about that. When I Sesh main. So when I go to look up like Zoxide, right, and then I make a connector, we find the session and then we name it with the namer based off of the path, right? So that's probably the kind of thing I want to look at. Yeah, so here are my strategies, and then I end up finding the name based off of the path. So I have to sort of break this one out in some way because I want to get the root. The bear name will take all of this, and it's the relative path part that I don't want. So I basically need to extract this out of the namer. So the decision now is, how do I want to expose it? I could make this an internal package where namer could we could create some sort of root namer, I guess, and the root namer can be used for the function, and it also can be used by reusing that logic a second time to extend its functionality for the way that this specific strategy works for bear name and get name. So top level dir comes from there, so they trim it. I basically want to return what do I want to return? So the base dir, we add all this together. Yes. Okay. So let's just, I guess, hack away at this. We have version control, so if we mess something up, we can just do reverts when we need it. I'm just sort of conceptualizing this. So we take the base from the top level dir. Yeah. Path wrap base. Yeah. Okay. So this is on the namer strategy. So the question now, if this is namer, oh sweet, we got someone that's a user of Sesh. Dude, I appreciate you. I use it daily as well. I don't think I could ever go back at this point. It's kind of like I've fixed in this world now. Uh, but yeah, I appreciate you. Let me know if you have any comments or questions about it. We're just doing Sesh development, so feel free to share your thoughts. Always happy to talk about it. All right, so this is namer name. My thought is we expose a better name, pun intended, because this is the namer package. So the namer package, instead of just name, we could call this like, we basically need like a root name. That's fine. It's not too destructive if we do this. So this is name. And what is this going to do? Convert to valid name. Can I determine the root name? It's a bit of duplicate, isn't it? So instead of these strategies, we will create like a get bear root name, and the root name will be this. And so instead of all this logic here, we would, let me start here. I can refactor and I can make this code a little bit less, not duplicate the code as much. But for now, I just want to see that it works. Root name. So root name is going to be the same. So we get rid of all that. And then our strategy changes to root name, root name. We need a path. So we'll get the active session. The active session's path would be passed to get the root namer. So there's a little bit of duplication here in the work, but I don't really have it saved on the session. Um, that would be interesting now that I'm thinking about it. The what is this? The Sesh main model? What do we call it? Now I can't remember. Sesh session. Like this guy, we could create like root name, right? And we could do this the root of the project. This could be interesting because then we calculate it when the session gets created. And so when you go to, you don't have to recalculate any of it. It would just always be correct. I like this approach more because there's less code duplication, and then I don't have to worry about I don't have to abstract as much. Boy, that's hard to say. Less abstraction, which is something to think about. But uh, so we'll say maybe do calculation early on session creation. Because what we could do there is I could do really clever things in which I could scan through tmux sessions and I can get a sense of the root name without having to actually recalculate anything. Because think about what's happening. It's like, all right, this is a path. I don't know anything about this path. So I'm going to go see, is this part of a Git work tree? Let me go up and look for the bare, directory. Is this part of a Git repository? Let me go up and look for the Git, parent directory somewhere. And if not, then I'm going to assume that it's just a plain directory, and then I'll give you a simple name based off of what you've given me. So that kind of pattern, we don't want to have to do it all the time, but thankfully this is a one-off, so it feels fairly cheap. It seems cheap enough that I think we'll get away with it. So that's everything. Sesh CLI. We just have to attach it now. I'm sure there might be something that goes wrong, but let's just see what happens. So the root command, roots. We have our lister and we have tmux. So we're going to get the currently attached session from tmux. So really, I just need get attached session from the lister. What is this saying? Lister, right? Lister tmux. And it returns the session and if it exists. Right? If it is. Right. Session and right. So now we say if it exists. If it doesn't exist, then we're going to do that. And then we'll do the namer. So now we don't need tmux, right? We need in for namer. Namer. This is my dependency strategy. So we're going to say root or error, get the root name based off the session path. If there's an error, then we're going to exit early. And then if we do, then we're going to return it. String. Can I return a string on this? No. String error. I want, what do I want? I want It's not going to return a string, is it? It's going to CLI dot echo. Let's just go ahead and your fav, right? Your fav. So your fav CLI, we want to output text. I don't think I've done this yet. All right, let's see what it says. Format print. Is that all they want? I can do that. That's literally it. So then the Sesh CLI, we would want the namer go here. That's it. Does it build? Missing return on root. So what? It wants me to return. But if there's no error, what have we been doing? Last, return null, right? Pretty easy. This is what, 30 lines? Not bad. So we should be able to build this. And then sesh root. No root for session. Lies. Okay. So now is the fun part. My buddy Andres, which Andres, are you here today? He's usually here on stream. This is funny. We got our little witch following us around. We'll leave her up here. We exit early because we can't get. Wait, hold on. Root shouldn't be getting last. Get. Oh, I see. Maybe that's why there is no last session. We need the tmux lister. We need this guy. Is he not in the lister? He must not be. Okay. Interesting. I didn't realize that this was not exposed. So we will take this guy and we will use that. Real lister does not implement. Okay, so that's where I'm thrown off. It must be that I wrote it wrong. Yeah. All right, let's make sure we do this the right way. So it's not supposed to be called like that. It's supposed to be called like this. Right? Right. List go undefined. Wait, hold on. What was that? Lister list. Lister list. So this is part of the same project, right? So on hide attached, it's like a public private thing. I don't need this exposed. See, that's where I get thrown off. So we are now exposing this as part of the project. Why can't I call it here? Like, I know why it's not missing, but check if it's defined. All right, so we've defined it. I got too many files open. So what's it gonna say? Nice, I'm big. Ensure that you have the instance and then call the method of that instance. So yeah, that's a pain. Why do I have to do it this way? So I want this logic to be exposed publicly. Um, but I really want to just call it. So can I return this? This feels kind of hacky, but maybe it's fine. Go to implementation. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and make this. Oh no, it can't be private. It can't be made lowercase because we're using it in a different file. I think this is enough though to satisfy everything. All right. A little funky. Sesh root. Hey, cool. So I don't want to print a new line. That is an important distinction I need to make. Print. Make sure not to print a new line character. Oof, I don't want more. I guess a string dependency is not too bad. All right, let's see how that goes. Oh, it still wants to give me a new line. Let's see what happens now if I use it. So in tmux, this value is going to be this sesh root, right? And then we're going to escape this back, quote this to prevent word splitting. No, we're okay. Cool. That is wrong. That is not what we want, though. Let's try with sesh. Oh, I actually need to bind this to something else. What can I use that's not already being used? So we have like capital R. Let's do capital R. So we're going to do R for root. We're going to get rid of that diff. We're going to get rid of these guys. And then on Wes term, we're going to take, what are we going to do? We want the we want capital K to be capital R. Cool. So now that's it. So now if I go to sesh main, tmux, sesh main. Oh, see, it's giving me the whole thing. That's not right. mocks. And it's creating a weird session name. So we need to be mindful of that. So we're not quite there yet. But this is what I'm going for. This is what I'm hoping to get out of this. And it's working somewhat. Oh, I might have screwed up the original, the lister, right? The namer. So we have our name strategy and our root name. So this stuff, I need to make sure that this is not changed. This is the original strategy, and this is the new strategy. So that should have worked. We now should be able to do like get, and then we have get. All right, and then root name is from namer. Root name comes from path. So the question is, they were swapped. That's hilarious. I literally put them in the wrong place. That's funny. All right, that should work then. Yeah, so that's Sesh. Interesting. I would have expected this one to be main, but it's going all the way down to Sesh. So I have to be mindful of, hey, what's up, Andres? We'll have to be mindful of that. Hey, Jersey's here. What's up, Jersey? I think we're done with the feature, but there's probably some things to deal with on the side. Let's just run tests, see what we broke. Can you guys hear the music? I don't even know if you can hear the music. It's kind of loud in my ears, which I guess I can turn it down a few ways. Good question. So Jersey's asking, does Seshroot have a use case outside of Get Worktrees? Yeah, so it works great in dot files too. So if I do like dot files config wes term, right? This is in a just a normal Git repository, and the same thing can be done. So now if I want to look up dot files, it will prefix dot files. So that's pretty helpful. But what I'm realizing is it will only give me the word dot files as of the way it was written today. So do I want like ~c/dot files? Do I need the path to be there? Or do I want to just include the root name? So I think I already answered that by asking the question. You may want it a certain way, but I want it. Let me know if you know music. I see. Let's see. I feel like if I turn this on, everyone's gonna go, "Oh my gosh!" Let's see. Screen. Oh, I'm gonna jump around, aren't I? Don't mind me. What is happening? What is happening? All right, let's see if I can do this. Screen's volume is on. What's up? No? Yes? Nice. No music? Okay, now you should have something. You hear it? Is it like totally obnoxious? It's funny, there's like live chat on this video, so it kind of throws my brain off. We did get a test failure, and that is config tests mock. Okay, so we got mockery. It's going to have to be updated. I always forget that, like, every time I update Mockery to a new version, like, every single instance gets updated. It's kind of a pain. And then I'm dumb and I do it before I commit anything, and so I end up with this weird hodgepodge of, I guess I don't have to Mockery all, I can Mockery specifics. Session. So for now, let's not do this. However, I think what I want to do is go through the trouble of, let's take a look. Lister, attach session. I guess we'll modify it by the time we're done. Add root command. Okay, let's push this. So now I get sesh root. So that's sesh. And then if I go to like dot files, this sesh root is going to be dot files. So the question now is, do I want to go through the trouble of showing the directory? I think I do. I think that's what I decided. So we're just going to go to the namer strategy for Git. Okay, so your dot files, you have sesh config to drop the dot, but any path-based session. Yeah, so it's just a tmux thing. If you ever used tmux outside of sesh, you'll know that if you ever have dots in your session names, that tmux will transform that into an underline. I will tell you, Jersey, as a new sesh user, I only use custom sessions if I have certain scripts or actions or things I want to do. I spend very little mental effort thinking, oh, I really want this to be slightly different names, so I'm going to go make a custom session. I don't usually go through that much trouble, especially because with dot files, I can create lots of things on the fly. Any session I've never even touched before. If it's a Zoxide result, it's a record, right? And so it's a pretty powerful way of I just kind of ignore that. I don't think it's a big deal. But if you do, that's okay. If you really want, your dot files to be, not with an underscore, you can definitely go through that much. But I think it's not worth the hassle. So my sesh config, I have a sesh config session, that's a little bit meta. And it just immediately opens up my sesh config file, right? And so that's a really specific use case. And when I do config, you'll see I have lots of configs. Aerospace, Ghosty, Tmux, Gitmux, Hammerspoon, NeoVim, right? These are all common things that you might imagine, Yazi, Westerm, and I always use a suffix of config, just telling me this is for a config file for the thing that I'm looking up. So if we looked at like Westerm config, right, it just opens up the entry point Westerm file. And so that's the way I like to do it. If it's anything that's beyond just trying to name something slightly different, I don't really spend much thought into that. By the way, you should also maybe check out the startup command for default sessions. I mentioned this in my video that explains sesh, but it's really great because if I want to go to like dot files, aerospace, right? It will automatically open up my Tmux or my NeoVim picker, and then I can get to the file that I want. So I really like that pattern. And this is just a little custom NeoVim config. This is just a little telescope smart open. I like smart open. It lists everything by last modified. So these are the things that I touched, recently. Like this morning, I was messing with Avante and get conflict. And so like these are, so if I'm working on conflict, now I can hit con and it's definitely the file that I recently touched. So pretty handy. Pretty handy. All of this is good. What we're deciding is that I want the base dir to be included here. Wait, hold on. There's a point here. The namer is what's misleading here, isn't it? It's like I want the name to become the path. So that's something to think about, isn't it? Maybe top level dir root. Let's go to root. So root. I don't want the base. I want to prettify it. How do I prettify it? I do a, what do? I might have to add a new dependency if I want to include the pretty path. So Jersey, what's great about mine is fairly simple. Neovim config. Let's go to telescope. So this is literally all I did. So I just installed it. And the way that smart open current working directory only true, like you said. And I like the file name first pattern. I think it looks nice. Yeah. So current working directory only becomes extremely powerful with Sesh, right? So when I want to go, hey, I'm in my dot files and I want to go to fish, or let's go to Sesh. It will sort by only the files in the Sesh directory. So Sesh and this file picker are always parallel, which is really, really nice. So yeah, this CWD only is a really important flag for that feature. So it sounds like you're basically doing the same thing as me now. All right, so my lister, when I list, what am I going to list? Sockside. So my lister lists Sockside. What do? We take all of the results and we shorten home. So home has to become has to be a new thing. So it's not, I don't love that, but we'll just get it done. So that means the namer needs home. So namer needs home. Yeah, that's fine. And then this becomes home dot home, and then we pass home like that. Are we going to break anything yet? Yes. So the sesh CLI means that we need namer to have home. And that's it, right? It should still build. Okay. There's my new dependency. And then we're going to shorten home on the namer get section. So this becomes top level dir. I don't think I have to do all of this now, right? Name doesn't really matter. So we're saying if this is a Git repository, we look for the top level, then we get the path, and we return it. So that's easier, less code. So what should happen is if we open this up, let's build sesh root. Hey, we get the path. I'll have to play around with this. So, because when we cd into something like cloner, we get, oh, interesting. Okay. So hold on. I actually think that that's wrong. I need the top level dir and the file, right? This is relative path. Interesting. I'll have to mess with this function more because I want c/sesh/main to come through this. So if I was to like remove, that strategy altogether, so the namer strategy for root, if I was to like get rid of this, I get just main. That might be enough. What's up, Jackson? Jackson's here. Glad to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I get you, Jersey. I'm seeing what you said about your file picker. Yeah, I think it's great. And I have it bound to Command P. What? I'm in the terminal and it's bound to Command P? Yeah, I've been using Command P since like Atom? Sublime Text? Yeah. I feel like Sublime Text was around before Atom. Because then we got Sublime, then we got Atom, then we got brackets, we got some others, and then we got VS Code, of course, showed up at some point. And everybody's doing Command P for file picker, right? So that's my Command P. I'll give you a bonus, Jersey. I can get Command P from the terminal. Look at that, Command P. And that's because I have a fish alias that matches what I want to run. Yeah, it's kind of a fun little thing. It's a little hacky how I do it, but it's not too hard to explain. So fish ABBR. So if you hit colon go to file, fish will replace that with invim plus go to file. And so Command P was term is just going to type out colon go to file and hit return. So Command P. Multiple actions will type out multiple letters and hit return at the end. So I have the same for Command Shift P for commands. I have Command Shift O, which lets me look at document symbols, which is similar to how Command O works. But my Command O is bound to opening up URLs. So if I hit Command O, I can open up a URL in my workflow. So pretty handy. This is a plugin I forked. I'm not the original author, but this is a really handy one. So yeah, pretty cool. Just text me if you want to know more about that, because it's a fun little setup once you get it working. So I think for now, I'm going to say that I only want get root name. And get root name basically does what we were trying to do here. All the stuff that we just did, we're going to do something similar on get root name here. So instead of assigning the base of the dir, we're going to pull and shorten home and then return it. Roots. So I think this will be enough for me. We don't want base dir. We don't want to reassign or return. We just want name to be a shortened version of the top level dir. And then we return it. Which means for now, I'm not going to duplicate this. And that should be it. It builds sesh root. And I'm actually going to go ahead and make an abbreviation for this. Sesh. So we'll do a quick sesh R for sesh root. Cool. So now I can do that. Yeah, and that's what I want. So that's the feature. That's literally the feature. So we might as well do a little screenshot. And we will make sure that we can still let's see, we're going to take this and we're going to feature use path for root drop work tree. Cool. So let's make test. Jackson gets it. Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad you get it. Like, so here, yeah, we're in this project and I want to filter down in this project. So I want like mocks. And when I run that, it'll immediately, that was a bad example. It's the Zoxide. It'll immediately bring me into the Zoxide package where I can have more contextual work and I can be specific and I can get the things I want to get done. And same thing here. I think I need to be mindful of the fact that if we were to remove this, I would actually be getting active tmux sessions. And when I include the file path, I don't. So that might be, it's not a trade-off, but it is definitely, let's evaluate that and make sure that we get it right. So on this, if I include, where is it? Root name. If I include the shortened home, then I'm filtering out potential tmux sessions. I feel like it's an option. It could be an optional thing, but let's try it. So we're just going to return top level dir. For now. Because then, oh, hold on. What did we do earlier before all of this? We did base. Right. So base, right. Man, this is so hard. I don't know what I want. I want sesh/main. Yeah, it's a separate pop-up. So I'm using Command Shift K to say I'm going to contextualize my Command K search, right? So Command K is everything. Command Shift K is this. I think I'm okay with the path. Because the way that I have Sesh written in right now, these oxide results don't ever disappear. So for me, it's a quick way to get to what I want. So I think I'm probably going to stick with this. Because even if we do like dot files, What we're saying is, I want to contextualize this project. So the project is a file, right? It's a place on your computer. And so I think it's a little bit misleading to say that the root of a session is strictly its, you know, parent, name, not a path, just a name. That does seem a little bit misleading to me. So I think I'm going to stick to this. However, my tests aren't passing. What's failing? Namer's failing. Why is Namer failing? All right, so let's go to it. Namer tests. I've been having issues with my testing library not wanting to start. There we go. Test not found. That doesn't seem right. Oh, I'm going to have to. I'm still trying to figure out what the test is saying. It says build failed. Why? I'm not actually getting any output. What is this? Namer test, not enough arguments called. Not enough arguments called. Oh, I see. All right. So this, we need mock home. Got it. Good old dependency injection. Now we could add tests for this. Should we not be lazy developers? Should we test? All right, so this is, let's just amend. Shh, don't tell anybody. We're amending commits and force pushing with lease. Okay. So that should work now because, yep. Cool. Dude, this music is a vibe. This is totally a vibe. What do we think? I don't know if you guys are into the spooky season, but I like the spooky season. Got to figure out what costume to wear this year if I'm even going out. I don't know. I don't know what's out there right now. All right, let's do this. Cool. All right, so we have a new feature. How cool is this? So now if you want to search a project, you can set up a separate binding to get the path of the root. So sesh root gives you the beginning of your project. So I guess we need to add a README on this, right? That might be useful to some people. How to use recommended settings, bonus. All right, so we have last, we have connect to root. I love this. By the way, Jersey, I came up with this last week. You don't hear music? How do you not hear music? I had it up. Maybe I need to make it louder, but it was playing earlier. Oh, it's pretty loud. Weird. Okay. Well, you don't hear music. So I had a session like 2 weeks ago, and we built this feature. So if I'm like in sesh main oxide, right? And I'm like, hey, I want to get to sesh main. I know sesh main is the root of the project. Let me get to it. I have it bound to command 9 because command 0 is for resetting my font size. So if I hit command 9, it switches me to the root of the project. And this tmux session doesn't have to be running. It'll still create a session if it's not. So super helpful. Search by root. If you want to filter your search by the root of the active project, you can modify your, and we'll probably update the fuzzy example too. You can modify your picker by using the sesh root command. So now, let's go to, I guess I just want tmux. And then let's see, I'm going to do a quick note. Prefix. Filter by a root of the, by the root. Alternative binding. Cool. So we're displaying pop-up, connect, fuzzy no sort placeholder prompt. Cool. We're technically filtering by root. And then where's our FCF command? I kind of want to bind roots. That's hilarious. Ginger root. So we're going to sesh list. I don't actually know how to do this with FCF value. Let's see. So this guy, let's see if they know how to do something similar. Query. Okay. So this becomes query. And we're going to escape sesh roots. I don't know if this is valid, but we'll find out, won't we? So that's that. We're going to do Control R. We're going to go back to tmux. Do I even have FCF bound anymore? I feel like I got rid of it a while ago. I use Command J as an alternative. Expressions. What is it saying? It's saying expressions don't expand a single quote. Where's the single quote coming from? Well, let's just see if this works. So source and target panes must be different. Maybe we should add a -r flag. Well, that won't make sense. We can't add a flag to the list. All right. I needed to simplify it down. Fix the control R so I can evaluate another script. You guys probably can't see this very well. So they're doing a / like that. Interesting. Yeah, I do use gum pretty much all the time, Jersey. What's up, Mark? Mark's here, everybody. Dude, we got the feature working. We're just kind of messing with some README stuff now. So if I'm in, this is dot files. So now if I have a new binding, Command Shift K, I can now search under dot files. And so anything I want to do in this project, I could jump to a different area. Same with like Sesh. So if I'm in Sesh main and I go, hey, I want to like do something in main, I have a specific binding now that will give me a pre-filled search. And we did that through the sesh root command. So sesh root is a new thing that if you call it, it will look for the root of the currently attached session. Pretty cool. So it's going to be something I use a lot. In my day job, I use Git Worktrees a lot. And so I end up wanting to switch between areas of the mono repo. And I want to be able to have some context shifting. And that's kind of the main reason. So yeah, it's been pretty good. Is this gonna work? Incorrect usage of flag. Query. Oh, FCF query. Right. I don't actually know if this is valid. I have no idea. Can you do this? Can you like pass an argument? No, you can't. How would I want to pass the query flag to the FCF tmux command. Can I? That seems like a bad idea too. I don't know if you can do this. It's fine. The idea is that you have a separate binding anyway, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Sesh. All right. So we will get rid of this. What is this? They want to reformat. Filter by root. So we're going to say docs, add filter by root example. That's it. Yeah, so hopefully I'll just ship this probably now and let people play with it. Right. So you're in a child. I'll show you one more time, Jersey. Let's say that I'm in Sesh main Tmux, right? And I'm doing all the Tmux things. I'm like, cool. I want to switch to a different area of Sesh main. So I hit the binding and it gives me Sesh main as the prefix of the search. And so now I can go, great, I want, the CLI. And I can immediately jump to that. And I go, great, now I want the convert. Boom. And so what I've been doing in the past is I do Sesh main, like I type out the prefix a lot. And so now I won't have to do it at all. Should be pretty great. And it works in the root. So we're going to be work tree focused here. So this is the specific work tree. We're not going to go to the bare and mess with it there because it doesn't really serve a purpose there, in my opinion. The whole point of good contextualized switching between areas of a project, I do love this workflow personally. So I like to have like 3 or 4 sessions open for one project. And when I'm doing focused work, like here's web work, I'm in the web session, and then here's server work, I'm in the server session, and we have like a core package, right? And I can do like ambiguous backend TypeScript, kind of work there. And so I like being able to switch. So this is going to be awesome. I'm excited. And we're just looking for .git. That's right. You're good, man. You're good. You can ask questions. It's fine. I just want to give you a hard time because I know you. I can make fun of my friends a little, right? I try to not bother strangers as much, but when I know someone, I like to tease them a little. So root, add root command. Easy to automatically filter a search result by I'll just kind of show this off, won't I? And then like I tend to just go to the README and I root. Oh, all right, cool. So we will create the pull requests and I'll just ship the feature if everything's passing on this side. I need this stuff to run. Just for sanity check, I'm not really changing any of the behavior. It's just a new command, right? The sesh root command. And so a little bit less destructive. We did have some new dependencies that got passed around a little bit differently, but the original functions, I ended up not doing any sort of abstraction or like reusability on any of that. And that's fine with me. Now, we didn't use Andres. I don't know if you're still here, man, but we didn't use logging. But in the case of like wanting to make sure this stuff works and figuring it out, I think that the new logging system would be really great. So in the future, if I do something a bit more complex, I think that I'll be sure to lean in on that. So shout out to Andres for that work. I'm going to do a good old squash and commit. So we're going to feature add root command. So we update mockery, and then we docs add. Yes. And so we'll update main, git fetch, and I guess we'll just go ahead and make a release. Why not? And I'll just duplicate. Look at this. We're at 2.6. Let's go. Come on, releases. So we're going to do v2.6. Let's go. Previous. Boom. And Andres, you're getting the new logger is going to be shipped today. And then we got some Z shell stuff updated. Do I need to re-upload this? How about I just go back to the PR and get this guy. It's the same one. Cool. So let's see. Yeah, nice. Set his latest release. 2.6. Sesh. What do we say? Sesh root command, new logger, and CSA prompt upgrades. Nice. There you go, people. Let's watch this guy. Got to do its thing. We got to build and publish the tag and put it up. But give it a few minutes, and look at that. Less than 90 minutes. We got this whole thing completely done. Pretty cool. Pretty nice. Anyone have questions? Mark, you were going to ask about Git Worktrees. If you're still around, feel free to ask a question before I end the stream here tonight. And Dr. K was here for a while. I don't know if he's still around, but he's working on a Git Worktree CLI where he's able to do some more complex and improve how to use Worktrees so they're a bit more helpful. Because with dependencies, you often want to install dependencies or run a build script. There are certain things that you want to do with your project when you're duplicating it, right? You don't want to just have the source code be there. And so I've written some bash scripts that do that. I may share that workflow here at some point. So just keep in mind, Mark, that I actually don't just say git worktree add. I have a script that I've written that says, okay, create this worktree based off of the main branch, and then pull in all of the dependencies, and then run a build, and then open a sesh. I end up opening a sesh session at the end of that script. And so that's the way that I get a lot of use out of Worktrees. But like if I'm in the middle of working on a feature or something, and a coworker asks for a code review, and I want to do something with that, like open up the code, on my local machine, like check out a branch, that kind of thing. It's really nice to be able to just switch to a different place in my computer and do all of that. Really trivial, like it's really easy. And so those are the kinds of things or a patch, my boss says, hey, there's a bug, go fix it. I can go, great. I don't have to deal much with conflicts like context switching. I just open a different work tree, create the branch, do the work, push it up, and then I can just literally Command L, sesh, and I'm back to the last session, and I'm just able to do exactly what I wanted. So pretty cool. All right, so we have it. So let's brew install sesh. We should get 2.6. 2.6. Awesome. Which sesh? Yeah. And so now, boom, it works. Let's go. Oh, let's go. We shipped. Nice. I have I just run git worktree remove, and Zoxide does something where it sees if I don't remember exactly how it works, but Zoxide does some sort of cleanup where if it finds that a directory is missing, it like purges records that match that directory. I don't know if I'm doing that explicitly or if it's something Zoxide just is capable of doing on its own. Oh, and I didn't mention this. Oppositely, when I add a new work tree, part of that bash script adds all of the folders on that directory that I would expect to use. I guess I could show it off. I don't know if Mark, are you still here? I'll show this off if you're still here and you're watching, because maybe you'll get the benefit of it. The only thing that's tricky about work trees is like you can't have the same branch checked out in different work trees at the same time. So there are some clever like things you have to do to deal with it. Um, so yeah. Yeah, Jersey, we're always looking for the .git folder. So I'm like traversing the paths upward until I find it. So if you do something that's not .git, if you're someone clever doing something else, let me know. We could try to figure out a workaround for the logic, but it's pretty standard. That's the session. I didn't hear from Mark. Mark Huggins, are you here? All right. Well, maybe I'll just do this for all of you, just so I'm here. All right. So we're gonna kill. I like to kill a lot with TK. I just kill the server. With Sesh, it doesn't matter. So I use just a single letter S as a fish abbreviation, and S runs the script that I want to run, to start Sesh picker. And so there's no pop-ups yet because Tmux isn't running yet. So I just hit S and I get going. And every now and then I don't need to be in Tmux, right? I do some sort of weird system level thing, and so I don't always have to do that. So let's do it. So I have one called new work tree. And when I choose this, I was messing around with this, which is a picker. So if I wanted to like open up a specific project like the ESLint, I can like filter down with a multi-step approach. So like, let's go to the model. Right. So that was kind of a fun approach. And so now this is what my workflows look like. I do a lot of this with work. But we're going to do this. We're going to do new work tree. And all it asks for is the branch. Now I might as well show you the file. It's not that complicated. Ignore all of the, holy smokes, all the LSP stuff. We'll just ignore all that. So it asks for the branch, and then I determine if it's an existing branch or if it's a new branch. And if it's a new one, then I'm going to add the work tree, and the branch is going to be my initials prefixed because that's how I work with my team. I like to use this branch prefix, and then origin main is the base, and then I set upstream. So I like to push this immediately just so I have it. And then I install all the dependencies, I build the packages. I then have a handful of places where I want Zoxide to be added so that I automatically have all of the sessions. Sesh has all of these things populated for me on ahead of time. and then I connect to the session. So I'll just show you how this works. So we'll clear all that again, and we'll do new work tree. And this is specifically for my work project, right? So I'll say reviews. I'll call it a review one. And so it will install dependencies using PnPM. It's fairly quick because it's all in memory, right? If you're a PnPM user, you might know. But there's a lot of dependencies for the work monorepo, right? It's just a big project. And then once all these items are added, it will do a quick build. And I'm a big fan of Turbo. So I use Turbo repo from the Vercel team, and we have a build pipeline that allows us to build everything. So I think I don't know how much of this, I don't, it's not like super protective, but I'm going to go ahead and hide it for a second. So it'll do that, and then it'll build all the projects. I'm going to obfuscate some of that from you guys for now. And so it's going to build everything. And then when I'm done, it's going to open up a session under that directory, right? This new one we called reviews. But what I'm going to do is, yeah, this takes a while to build because it's a lot. But you could be the judge. I'll tell you the whole time that this whole script takes because we'll see it. Unless, is it going to be able to count the whole script? I don't know if the Tmux connection makes it so. Yeah, it took like 2 minutes for the whole freaking thing to work. So here's the project, and all of the areas of the application that are worth it are already put in Zoxide by the script, and so I can connect to what I want to connect to. What I do want to do is the dash. I want to update this so it's reviews. And then there's a sesh config, and I'm going to call this we're going to point this to reviews. Cool. So now if I want to do utility reviews, it's my day job, it pulls up gh dash, and then I'm given pull requests that are shown. And then if I hit capital O, it will open that in Octo. And so it's pretty cool. It's really, really great to be able to do this. And now utility reviews is its own thing, its own work tree. So I don't have to mess with if I'm on main or if I'm on some other branch, work tree that I'm doing work on. It doesn't matter. So if I want to check out code, I can check out code and it won't really affect anything. So I like those changes. That was something I've been meaning to do. So I think that's it. This was fun. I don't have anything else to do today, so I'm going to stop there. This was super fun. Jersey, thanks for coming in and joining in on the conversation. Jackson, glad to meet you. Excited to hopefully see you more. Feel free to open up GitHub issues. And if those of you that don't know already, I'll do my spiel. joshmedeski.com. We have a Discord server, so you'll find a Discord button on my website. If you want to join us for these kinds of conversations, we talk a lot about Sesh and Tmux and NeoVim and terminals and development and some productivity stuff. I like 3D printing, so I try to bring in some of my other interests there. But it's a fairly active community. I like the conversations we have. I do plan on making more YouTube videos, but for now, I'll encourage all of you to check out NeoVim Conf. It's coming up in November. I believe I'm a speaker. I'm trying to get final confirmation, but I'm pretty sure I'm speaking this year, and I'm helping build the website like I do most years. So check out the NeoVim conference. Let's see, how do I share this? neovimconf.live. So do check this out. I'll put this little here. Glad you enjoyed it, Jersey. Thanks for sharing it with your friends today. So I hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.